Welcome to Thelina. Most of us live as if we are responsible for an invisible list. Things to complete, messages to answer, emotions to manage, decisions to carry. Even when we are doing nothing, there is a voice inside whispering, "You should be doing something." Rest now needs justification. Slowing down requires a reason. And doing nothing is often followed by guilt. Yet human beings are not only creatures of action. Sometimes, we are simply beings of presence. This text is not written to make you better. It does not offer a stronger, more productive, more disciplined version of you. Its purpose is not to take you somewhere else, but to lighten the weight of where you already are. Today, we are here to remember this. Doing nothing is not avoidance. Sometimes, it is the most honest form of meeting yourself. Before we begin, if the Series 1 Create resonates with you and brings you ease, with your support we can reach many more hearts. Your subscription, likes, and comments mean more to me than you know. Thank you in advance. Now, let us begin this new journey together. 1. Permission to pause. Pausing has become almost a radical act in the modern world. Because to pause means to step out of the flow. And stepping out of the flow is not what the system expects from us. We are taught this. If you are moving, you exist. If you are producing, you are valuable. If you are busy, you matter. So when we stop, we feel uneasy, not only in our bodies but in our minds. As if we are missing something. As if an invisible alarm is going off. That alarm often speaks in familiar sentences. Is this really the time to pause? There's still so much to do. You can rest later. But later rarely arrives. Permission to pause does not come from the outside. It does not appear when the calendar clears. It does not arrive when everything finally falls into place. Permission to pause can only be given from within. It begins with a simple sentence. I am allowed to pause. This sentence may sound simple, but it is deeply transformative. Because with it, you momentarily release yourself from the duty of carrying everything. No managing. No explaining, no fixing. Pausing is not giving up. It is not falling behind. And it is certainly not disconnecting from life. Pausing is creating breathing space between you and the world. Within that space, you begin to notice something important. You exist even when you are not doing. You are valuable even when you are not producing. You are meaningful even when you are not performing. When you pause, the urgency inside you slowly becomes visible. And most of the time, that urgency is not truly yours. It is inherited, from expectations, from social speed, from learned fears. Pausing allows you to see this urgency clearly. And seeing it reminds you that you do not have to carry it. Today, create a small space for pausing. It doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be a day. Sometimes it is just 3 minutes. Sometimes it is just one deep breath. When that moment arrives, do nothing. Don't fix. Don't analyze. Don't plan. Just pause. And remember this. Pausing is not stepping away from life. It is returning to yourself right in the middle of it. Intentions. I intend to pause and consciously release urgency. I intend to create space for myself to breathe. I intend to step back from the speed of life. I intend to release the need to always be strong. I intend to allow myself to stay where I am. Affirmations. I am safe even when I pause. I am valuable even when I do nothing. I honor my own rhythm. Urgency does not have to belong to me. Pausing brings me closer to myself. 2. Releasing the guilt of empty time. Empty time sounds innocent enough. Yet for many of us, it carries more discomfort than peace. When a space appears in the calendar, the mind rushes to fill it. Something must be done. Something must be added. Something must make it meaningful. This reflex is not born from laziness. It comes from a deeply learned sense of guilt. For a long time, we were told, time should not be wasted. Don't just sit there. Make use of it. Over time, these messages turned into a belief. If you are not doing something, you are doing something wrong. But empty time is not wrong. What is wrong is the judgment we attach to it. The discomfort you feel in moments of emptiness often does not come from the emptiness itself, but from the belief that you should know what to do with it. Because emptiness offers no instructions, no directions, no goals, it simply exists, and that is precisely why it feels difficult. Empty time invites you to meet yourself without production, without roles, without performance. It is a moment where you are not being useful, productive, or impressive. In that moment, the inner judge often appears. It whispers familiar phrases. You should be doing something. You're wasting time. Is this really all you're going to do? Letting go of the guilt of empty time does not mean silencing that voice. It does not mean arguing with it. And it certainly does not mean convincing it. It means learning not to follow it. When emptiness arrives, one of the most radical choices you can make is this. Do not fill it. Do not reach for your phone. Do not make a list. Do not set a goal. Allow the emptiness to remain. At first, this may feel uncomfortable. The mind will look for escape routes. It will jump to the past, rush into the future, create plans. But if you stay with the emptiness, it begins to soften. Soon, you may notice that emptiness is not as empty as you thought. There is a quiet spaciousness within it, a subtle sense of relief, a moment without urgency. In that space, you meet yourself differently, not through what you can do, but through what you can be. Empty time releases you from the obligation to be useful, and this is not a loss. It is a form of freedom. Today, you can create a small experiment for yourself. Choose a moment in your day that appears empty. 5 minutes is enough. During those 5 minutes, try not to check your phone, make plans, distract yourself. Just sit, look, breathe. The guilt of empty time may not disappear immediately, but with each attempt, it loosens its grip. And eventually, you may realize this. Being empty is not being worthless. Being empty is being human. Intentions. Today, I intend to release the guilt around empty time. I intend to notice my urge to fill every moment. I intend to allow emptiness to exist. I intend to remain without distracting myself. I intend to feel safe within emptiness. Affirmations. Being empty is not wrong. I do not have to be productive all the time. Emptiness allows me to breathe. I exist even in silence. Empty time reconnects me with myself. 3. Choosing not to do. Not doing is often mistaken for passivity. Yet when it is a conscious choice, it becomes a deeply active act. Because choosing not to do requires resisting automatic patterns. Much of our relationship with the world is built around immediacy. Respond immediately. Fix immediately. Be available immediately. Solve immediately. This sense of urgency quietly becomes our default state. We feel obligated to reply to every message, to meet every expectation, to answer every call. But not every call is a responsibility. Not every message is a priority. Not every expectation belongs to you. Choosing not to do begins right here. This choice is not born from laziness, nor from indifference. It comes from choosing not to fragment yourself unnecessarily. When you choose not to do, the first thing you often encounter is not peace, but a subtle tension, because not doing means stepping away from the version of you that others expect. And this can trigger the feeling of, I'm doing something wrong. But not every uncomfortable feeling is a sign of wrongdoing. Sometimes, it is simply a sign that you are setting a boundary. Choosing not to do means allowing yourself not to answer every question, not to explain every decision, not to manage every emotion. This is not turning your back on the world. It is creating healthy distance between you and it. Distance is not disconnection. Distance is clarity. Today, you can consciously choose one small act of not doing. Not replying immediately. Not saying yes right away. Not explaining yourself when you feel pressured to. These small choices teach something essential. You do not have to be constantly available. You do not have to be constantly ready. You do not have to be constantly strong. When you choose not to do, a space opens within you. And this space, though initially unsettling, becomes instructive. Because within it, you realize something important. Life continues even when you are not managing everything. The world does not stop. Relationships do not collapse. You do not disappear. You simply step back into yourself. This realization lifts a tremendous weight. Choosing not to do frees you from the need to prove yourself at every moment. And freedom often comes not from doing more, but from carrying less. Today, you might ask yourself, do I truly want to do this? Or do I simply feel that I should? This question may not create a revolution, but it creates an inner realignment. And sometimes, that is more than enough. Intentions. Today, I intend to choose not to keep up with everything. I intend to see not doing as a conscious choice. I intend to release the need to explain myself. I intend to set healthy boundaries. I intend to carry less. Affirmations. Choosing not to do is a form of strength. I do not have to respond to every call. I do not need to prove myself. Distance brings clarity. Carrying less allows me to feel whole. Closing. Throughout this text, we did not try to add anything to you. We did not set new goals. We did not assign new roles. We simply remembered how to put some of the weight down. The right to do nothing is not about giving up on life. It is about listening to life with less noise. Sometimes pausing, sometimes remaining empty, sometimes choosing not to do. None of these are failures. They are quiet forms of being human. As you step into a new year, you don't need to become more. Perhaps the kindest thing you can do is to let yourself rest in who you already are. Today, we gave ourselves back the right to do nothing. Today, we completed a series where we allowed ourselves to pause and remembered that doing nothing is also a right. We explored together how to turn our hopes into a manifesto. Remember, life is whispering to you. When you dare to listen to your heart, paths begin to open. Until our next meeting, stay with the light in your heart. I am Thelina, a fellow traveler walking toward the same dream under the same sky.